Welcome back to the course. In the last part, we were starting with our pass and how to automatically fill in all the pass points into the pass objs list. So in this part, we're gonna go forward and visualize the pass. So what we're gonna do with that visualization is we can show you or whenever whoever is going to set things up, for example, we want to see where our pass is actually on, because we cannot like tap the whole time onto the game objects and see which one is the correct one and so on. We want to give it some nice look, I would say. So after this, for each, whenever we are done with adding these components, we want to draw the objects. So drawing the objects is going to be, we want to highlight them with some gizmos. In this case, we're going to make use of a for loop, which is actually looping through all the pass objs objects. So we say in here where max is standing, we say pass objs list dot count. So we are looping as long as until we reach the amount of the objects inside the pass list. What we want to do is we want to create a new position vector at first. So it's a vectors array. We call this pos or position. It's up to you once again. What we're going to do is with that position, we need to store this position of the current object we are looping through. So we're going to take a pass object list, and then we're going to take I as an indicator or an index we are currently looping through, and then we take its position. This is the position we are storing in the position vector over here. So we're going to store this here. Now what we want to check is, before we do anything else, we want to see if I is greater than 0. If I is not greater than 0, of course, it doesn't make sense. So we do not take the first, but the second the second point, actually. And at this point, when I is bigger than 0, so we are in the first one, we want to set the last one, the previous one, to be the pass objs list 0th element, or actually the element which came before. How do we do that? We say we create another vector. It's going to be the previous point or the previous game object. We set this one to be equal to pass obj list in square brackets I minus 1. We can only do the setting minus 1 until, or meanwhile, I is bigger than 0. When it is already 0, then it would be a negative number and we would get out of range exception or something like that. So, and we're gonna take its position, of course. So this is the start position where we are drawing our base or our first line from, and then we paint it basically to this position. So from the previous position to the current position, I would say. So, and what we're going to do is we do this in here, like we draw a line with the gizmos function. So gizmos.drawLine. And where do we want to paint from and where do we want to paint to is, as I already explained, we want to paint from the previous to the position. And that's basically it, to see where our objects are going to coming from and going to. Also, we want to draw a gizmos.draw wire sphere. I want to make it so that I can see this even better. So I draw a wire sphere on the current position. So not on the first, but on the current one. So we paint it onto the current position and we give it a radius of 0.3 maybe. Not too big. Not really needed to be that big. So it's just as an indicator so we can see where the pass is going to go to. So whenever we are done with that, we should see our actual pass in the scene as well as in the game view. But in the game view, we might not see this. Why? Because the game view does not usually show gizmos. So as you can see, there is one wire sphere over here, and this is going to be this particular pass point. When you want to see this in the game view, of course, you can always enable gizmos here on the right, and you see when I'm dragging around things here, also they are moving over there. Okay, so this is going to be our indicator, and our pass, we have straight set it up. So what we can do now is we can duplicate this and create a pass to our needs as we just copy and paste that. So we have straight passes between that. We can copy that again, and we can set up any pass, any straight pass in this particular case, to wherever we like in place. And that's it. So this is the base of the pass system we are creating. In the next one, we are starting to create a quadratic Bezier curve. So we're gonna take this straight path and say it so that between 3 points we interpolate it so that we are, or the system is automatically creating roundish or round curves for us we can take later on to navigate through. So this is currently our base path. We can also already walk on that whenever we are starting to move on this particular path.